Hi everyone, so today we're going to have an introduction to Adobe Illustrator, and we're going to start with the basics, and during the course hopefully by the end of it you'll have some really cool Adobe Illustrator skills. So it could be that you're interested in creating things like these minions, or maybe you're an anime fan and you want to end up creating stuff like this. Or maybe you are interested in the Kawaii Yeti, as we all are. How wonderful! I spend days creating my own Kawaii Yeti illustrations in Adobe Illustrator. So, speaking of Kawaii Yeti, let's get started. Today we're just going to have a quick look at how to use some of Illustrator's basic drawing tools to create something like this. Okay? So, just going to move that off to the side. Right, let's get started. One window you'll want to have open in Illustrator is your color window. Very useful window to have open as you're drawing. Alright, interestingly, Illustrator has a black arrow, a white arrow, a pen tool, some shapes, a paintbrush, a line tool with some different options here. Lots of different things to play with in Adobe Illustrator. We're going to start with the shape tool, and I'm going to choose an ellipse and draw some kind of shape for my Yeti body. It's got a white fill color, so there's the fill color and it's white, and this one here is the stroke color, and the stroke color is some kind of brown. Let's just make it a slightly darker brown, and we'll just make the stroke width a little bit stronger. There we go. Let's just change that a little bit. Yeah, okay, that's not perfect either. You could spend hours playing with the stroke tool. Alright, now a Yeti's body isn't perfectly circular, so a circle of course is a shape, and Illustrator puts these blue points onto shapes that you draw, and you can play with those blue points using the white arrow, otherwise known as the direct selection tool. So let's do that right now. Click into that one. I'm just going to make it a bit wider. Click into this one. Just going to bring it up a little bit. Try and make a kind of a fatter body, and we'll just bring that in as well. Just use the white arrow to play with the points until you get the shape that you're looking for. That's not bad. I'm still not happy with the stroke color, but don't worry about it. Alright, next thing is we're going to turn our attention to the legs. Again, I'm going to use the ellipse tool. Just draw one out there. Use the white arrow to drag that point down to make a kind of a leg shape, and then drag it into position using the normal selection tool. So there's one. Control C, Control V. Yep, copy and paste works in Illustrator. And there's the other one. Now I really want to turn the body and the two legs into one shape. So in Illustrator, what I'm going to do is go to Window, Pathfinder. I'm going to select all these shapes, and I'm going to go to this shape mode, which is, it allows you to join all the shapes together. And again, using the white arrow tool, if you really want to, you can play with the shape of the shapes by clicking on the brown arrows. Okay, Control plus, same as Photoshop to zoom in. Just going to drag that out with my white arrow. Drag it in. Okay, that's looking good. Now then, what's next? We're going to have a look at this blue face area. Again, I'm going to play with the ellipse tool. I'm going to drag out a shape there. The stroke color is nothing, and fill color is kind of a blue, something like that. And again, I'm just going to play a little bit with my colors and use the white direct selection tool to mess around with the shape. Just not quite a perfect, just flatten it out a little bit. Up to you ultimately what you want the shape to be like. Just play with it a little bit more. How are we doing? Yeah, that's not perfect, but that's what I'm going to go with. Alright, next I'm going to have a look at the eyebrows. So again, I'm going to take the ellipse tool. I'm just going to do it up here. We've got a brown stroke, and I'm not going to have a fill. I'm just going to make the stroke width a little bit stronger. I'm going to use the white arrow to select that bottom point, and I'm going to press delete on my keyboard to delete that bottom point, and that's what I get. So there's a nice little trick there. Now my colors aren't perfect, but that's not really what this tutorial is about. This tutorial is just introducing us to some of the basic tools in Illustrator. Now let's have a look at the mouth here. Back to the ellipse tool. No stroke, and a slightly darker brown fill color. That's not bad. Just play with that a little bit. And let's zoom in. And I need a mouth inside. What does the mouth look like? Okay. I'm going to use the pen tool to draw the mouth. I'm going to go across here, down here, and up here. A little bit weird. Going to fill it with pink. And I'm going to put it into place and just resize it and reshape it a little bit. So there's my mouth. And let's go to the white arrow and just drag, whoops, not that one, that one, and drag that out. And the more experience you get of doing this, the easier it becomes. That doesn't look very good, does it? What happened? Maybe keep it like that. Okay. So next we've got this hair here, and it looks like it's got a kind of a shadow under it. So we'll look at a trick for doing that as well. I'm just going to go back to the pen tool here, and again, I don't like to draw on here. It's just my way. I like to draw outside of the image first. I'm going to click and drag to get that first shape. Ooh, I've got a fill color there. I don't really want that fill color. I'm going to turn that off and just have a stroke color. Then we go back to here. The next one comes down here, doesn't it? Ooh, I don't want that. Where's that coming from? Control Z. I want it to come down here. Why is it doing that? Now if that's happening to you, Control Z, click on the last point that you drew, go back to the last point, click, and then draw. And that won't happen. Click, click, and just try and kind of drag out some hair. And let's drag that into place. Ah, it's white, isn't it? It's white. The fill color is white. And I'm going to use my white arrow here to drag that up. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Let's make that stroke a bit stronger. There we go. Now then, to get that effect there, that kind of shadow effect, Control C to copy that shape, and then Control B, B for behind, to paste it behind this original shape. So Control C and then Control B. And I promise you there is another shape there. There it is. Okay? For that one, we're going to make the fill color black. Whoops, what happened? Let's do all that again, because I think I made a mistake. Maybe 8 is a bit too strong. Control C, Control B, fill color black, good, stroke color nothing, and I'm just going to drag that down a little bit. There you go, and now we've got that effect there to make it look like there's a shadow. So if I zoom in on that, I can use my white arrow to click on that one and just drag that point in so it goes behind the shape, and you should end up with something like that. Okay? Okay, very quickly I'll show you a trick for creating this here, and then you see if you can finish it off with the horns and some other things for the character. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw out my ellipse, have a light blue fill color. Don't worry if the colors are not the same at the moment, we'll get to that later. Go to Window, Stroke, and bring up the stroke palette. Make it strong, make it a dashed line, make the dash 0 and the gap, well, we'll play with that in a minute, but we need this to be around, there we go, that's better. And let's play with this now. Let's make that 30, nope, let's make it 10, oh, getting better. Let's make the weight stronger, that's getting better. And let's change the color a little bit. How do we change the color of the dash? Oh, that's right, stroke. Just to try and get those colors the same. There must be a better way, and I'm sure we'll learn that as we go through this Illustrator course. And there's a trick for creating that. Okay, so carry on, see if you can make the horns, and if we go to a Kawaii Yeti, maybe you can add your own ideas as well. For example, a hat here, the rosy cheeks here, what else? The background. Okay, have a go.